there's a separation season coming. And I've seen this before where businesses that really market hard now will take market share. This separation season will be bigger than ones before. And I think the ones that really move, I think because of technology, you really do have to move. You do actually have to get a strategy in place to actually help your business grow, because I believe the separation season will be stronger. Renee, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Good to be here, Scott.
We've got another great session. Look, I've got some things I really want to dig into. It's something called the Rebound effect. And I'm going to give business owners 3 things every business owner should be doing right now. But also, you've got some great stuff you want to share around Meta and some of the results we've been getting. Also, some questions you've been getting in the strategy sessions around stock imagery and different things that are going on in the marketplace. So, look, I think we should get straight into it. I want to ask you about the Meta campaign. We had a client sign up off the back of it recently. Tell me a little bit about it, and also tell me why it's important for the business owners listening.
Look, I guess one of the things that comes up quite regularly when I'm out talking to business owners is that sometimes they don't believe that their clients are on Facebook.
Yeah, totally.
But 85%, or it's around 85% of New Zealanders use the platform. And who doesn't have a sneaky scroll at some stage during the day, right? We all do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Like there is a lot of bias in marketing, and some people think just because they don't do it, their customers won't do it. And I think that's the thing I've learned over the years. You actually have to let your bias go, because you know what? Your customers are theirs. And this is a good example, right? So they found us.
Exactly. So we met with them, and then they'd looked obviously through the Meta ad. They then looked at some of our content. They follow us on LinkedIn. And when I sat down with them, they said to me, "Oh, so you're the Strategy First agency, aren't you?" And I was like, "Well, yes, amongst other things." You know?
Yeah, but that's the way we position ourselves, right? We believe, design your marketing strategy to pick the tactics to produce the results you want, right? We don't believe in the other way. We're just running tactics blindly. We think you got to get the strategy first, get the messaging, get the thinking right, and then you can execute.
Yeah. So then, off the back of that, they started, they're reciting back our content, and they're going to work with us. Now, they're in the trades industry. They're a nationwide brand. So, it's all about, I think, on Facebook is just showing up and being in that space and being consistent.
One thing that gets me all the time, and this has happened twice this week, business owners have come in to us to see our team and our account managers, and my door's always open, and I'm the first one they see, and they'll say, Scott, how you going, blah, blah, and they'll talk to me, and they'll go, you know what, I really didn't think it was going to work, because obviously they've either had a bad experience before, and they didn't have any faith in digital marketing anymore, or they just didn't believe. They've come from a background where it was all about radio, it was all about billboards, it was all about, TV, and look, end of the day, this Meta platform, YouTube, etc., these just are newer versions of TV, right? And so you're getting your message in front of people. You have that consistency message. You have that frequency reach. You become relevant, and it always makes me smile, because they had a little bit of faith. They gave us, they gave us the benefit of the doubt to give us a go. But now their businesses are growing, and they're growing in some cases very, very successfully, and it's really cool to see. But it's great to hear as well.
Totally. And talking about traditional forms of broadcast and TV and traditional media that you said before, reminds me of someone else that I met in the last couple of weeks. Now, historically, they came on my shopping show at CTV in a previous life. And then when I moved, the first role I had in digital was with a website agency.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Yeah. And then they followed me there to get a website. So, I made that move in my career from traditional media to digital, because that's where it was all going, right? Move forward to today. Now she's actually a marketing manager for a different company now, and their current provider, they were frustrated. They weren't proactive. They weren't getting regular reporting.
Yep.
There's no communication. And so they were really frustrated. So she Googled my name to see where I was now.
Very good.
So I got back in front of them.
Yeah. Where did she find you?
So she Googled my name on Google.
Yep.
And then obviously, had a good look at the digital influence website, then looked at our content
Nice.
and looked at the team as well. So
Yeah. That's cool because people want to get confidence. They want to. People in the day, people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? And your job is one to get known, and obviously you were known, and they obviously like you, and they obviously trust you. So that follows wherever you go, right? That's very, very cool. And great to see people evolving onto these other channels too. And I look, I'd say, as an agency owner, I know we don't always get it right when it comes to some clients and some marketing. But I tell you one thing, one of our core values is results, not reasons. And we will not let someone go without fully exploring what went wrong. We know that you guys and people listening out there, you just want results, right? You don't know the reasons why something didn't go right, or sometimes why it went wrong. But you want someone to actually take care of it, and that's what we do. And I think that's the coolest thing about there can be indifference at time, but we will work hard to turn that around. And that happens very rarely, but when it does happen, I tell you what, my team, we dig in, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's what I love about digital influence and the fact that we don't just sell to somebody for the sake of it as well, but once they're in the fold, it's quite exceptional.
What's something else that comes up regularly in your strategy sessions when you're talking to people? Because you run a lot of them now. You're running sometimes 2, 3, 4 a week. What's something that comes up in these strategy sessions?
So while going through the process with business owners to get really clear on that, what we call the one-page marketing plan and that strategy for the next 12 months, it's a real basic 101 marketing, but it's stock imagery.
Yeah.
So like you hop on a website, for example, like a local garage, and they've got, it looks like almost American sort of polished photos.
Yeah.
It doesn't represent their brand at all, and that's a really good way to lose trust instantly.
Yeah. I was looking at one the other day. We got asked to audit a site, and it was asbestos brand, and it was all American. Like you could tell the whole American kind of granddad standing next to an American house, and it's like, hang on, like this is New Zealand asbestos. This is like a problem here, right? Like it's just the disconnect. And the distrust because of it. And this company's spending money on Google ads, sending traffic to that, right? And they're wanting to know why it's not working. And like, I always say small hinges swing big doors, but, you need to enter the conversation people are having inside their heads. And if they've got a problem and you've got a Google ad that's maybe connected to that problem, but then you send them to a landing page and there's a complete disconnect there, you're burning money.
It's brand damage, right?
Yeah. Well, it's money damage too, because they're not going to do business with you because of your stock images. What should people be doing then?
Having authentic, real photos showing their actual, so using the local garage as an example, the workshop, and Kiwi photos, and highlighting their team as well.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like a prospect will hop on your website and have a look at your team.
Yeah.
One of the clients I mentioned that I've started working with now earlier on is because they hopped on the team and saw that there was an expert in each field here.
Yeah.
So, and you're dealing with real people. And so when they come in, they kind of feel like they've already met you because there's that know, that like, and that trust.
Yeah. I look at say Lytton, Curb and Channel, right? Like how they're, how we've evolved what they're doing from a branding perspective, from a photography perspective, right? Like it's so cool that people can now see, and you can see it when people commenting on LinkedIn, etc. about them. It's a curbing at the end of the day, but we're making it look really nice, look authentic, look real. It's not like some stock image of a curb, right? It's actually video, contrast, really nice imagery, and it makes a difference.
Totally.
And I'm saying that as a direct response marketer, and that's the coolest thing I've learned over the years is, this brand piece and your image does play a real part to it.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's definitely about building that trust, right?
And it's a quick fix for businesses. So, have a look at your website, have a look at your social media platforms, and, if there's lots of stock imagery, then work on a way around that to make that your brand look local like it is.
Yeah, so good. What other things are you seeing in the marketplace? What are people up to? Like it's coming into winter, right?
I know, really quickly.
Yeah.
This week it seemed to happen. So look, I randomly met with 2 people in the same industry on the same day this week. They're both in the lawn industry, one that does lawn fertilizer and there's beautiful real lawn, and one that does artificial grass.
Oh, wow.
So you'd think coming into winter, they wouldn't be approaching me to talk about marketing, but they're actually taking a step back to take the quieter months to really plan on that strategy. So when they're coming into spring, they can hit the ground running.
How good is that?
That's perfect,
That
right?
is smart, right? Like you've got to use those times. You know, if you have a natural downtime in your business,
Mm,
use it to plan, use it to get clear on your strategy. You know, look at your brand and go, okay, well, how can we elevate it? You know, and
mm.
be really to hit that ground running when the time is right. What are they? What sort of questions are they asking you?
So a lot of it is just like how to plan, how to step forward,
Mm,
what's the best media to use.
yep.
But mainly, both of the conversations were around getting that strategy right.
Mm,
So they're both accidental business owners, or those, that
yep.
classic small
Yep.
business Kiwi story where they started in their garage and they both kind of said to me that they've just been winging it so
Mm,
far, but they're successful businesses
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But their DIY marketing got them to a level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Now they're like, okay.
Yeah, let's level up
Yeah.
because they're both plateaued. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's figure out a way to do that. And the best way is to start with that strategy
Yeah.
and work through from there. But it's a smart way to do it with that planning on the off season, right?
Totally,
Good
totally.
mindset.
This leads me to something I want to talk about, which I call the rebound effect. You know, I was
Mm,
lucky enough to meet some clients, and one of my clients, Mike James, from who owns Novus New Zealand, him and his brother Tim. I remember Mike saying to me once, it was really early on, it's probably 9 years ago. I think it was just after maybe or during the GFC, and he said, Scotty, we don't market for the recession, we market for the rebound, and it's never left me, and I've always thought about it, and I think where we are right now, businesses need to gear up.
mm,
We're going to bounce into the rebound. Like I know America's in a bit of trouble and all this sort of stuff, and there's a bit of global stuff happening. But New Zealand has actually pushed through a bit of a recession. I'm talking to a lot of business owners. I was at a business event on Tuesday night. A lot of business owners there. They were talking about, hey, things are starting to move. Things are starting to
yeah,
happen. They actually, one of the guys I talked to talked about the budget and how the budget's coming out. I think it's May 22nd or May 25th in New Zealand.
mm,
The government, they might hold, but they might put some money into spending. That'll build confidence. Smart business owners are really starting to gear up now for that the rebound. And I think, okay, I really believe, and when you start, we're starting to see even more and more inquiry coming in over the last, few months.
mm,
More people are starting to gear up to do marketing, right? The smart ones are now even preparing for, when they're quieter. There's a separation season coming, and I've seen this before, where businesses that really market hard now will take market share because
totally.
they've grown the mind share. Do you see that kind of happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Because and they're hitting the ground running, whereas somebody that just comes in at the end of that,
Yeah,
they're just starting from scratch,
yeah,
right?
totally.
So they're going to fall behind even further.
Yeah,
So it's that smart one. It's not always an easy decision to make, but once you can go through those slightly harder times or the down times, like over winter, if it's seasonal, then
yeah,
you're in a much stronger place
yeah.
coming off the end of it.
And I think this separation season will be bigger than ones before. And I think the
Yeah.
ones that really move, and I think because of technology, you, you really do have to move. You do actually have to get a strategy in place to actually help your business grow, because I believe the separation season will be stronger. That
Mm.
said, I want to give you three things that every business owner should do, right? So grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and I'm going to give you these things. Renee's going to add to it, but these things are really, really important. Number one is you must get known by the success of your clients or customers. Number one thing right now.
Yeah.
We are doing it. We've invested in a full-time videographer. He's out there doing, what's he doing right now?
Sitting in here helping us with this.
Yes, but what's he doing in the marketplace? What are we getting him to do?
So lots of client testimonials
Lots
for
of clients'
us. Yeah.
testimonials for us, right?
Yeah.
Get known by the success of your customers. You have to do this.
Mm.
Look, whatever little wins you've had, make sure you capture them. Whether it's getting a Google review, whether it's getting a Meta review, whether it's getting someone to say some nice things on video, you must get known by the success of your clients and customers. Why is that important? Well, I believe people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And trust is so important, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll know yourself. People that trust you want to do business with you, right?
Yep.
And why have they trusted you? Because they know you and they like you, and you've demonstrated credibility in the past with them.
Yes.
And this is the thing that you need to understand as a business owner. You need to demonstrate credibility, and you need to show it and tell it. Okay,
Mm.
this is one of the fundamentals that business owners just miss all the time. They don't feel that they've earned the right to get a testimonial.
Yeah.
Well, Fact is, if you just ask, you're probably going to get one. You know, we just did a Google review challenge for one of our customers, nationwide franchise here in New Zealand. They're running this monthly challenge now. One of the guys increased his Google reviews by 65% in 1 month. Now, the on-flow effect of that in his Google results won't be felt next week, won't be felt the week after, but trust me, if they keep building on top of this, within 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they will start to see more and more and more inquiry because of getting those reviews and testimonials.
And I think it's a bit of a Kiwi thing as well, where you feel like you're showing off or bragging by showcasing that sort of information, but it's just not the case, right?
Thing is, the game's changed. The game has
Totally.
changed. Like people want to do business with they know, like, and trust. The thing is, not everyone can know you, or know, they have to make up their minds quite quickly sometimes. The best way to do that is get other people to tell them what you can do and what you can't do, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that we're getting video testimonials. I love the fact that our clients say nice things about us, but I love the fact that some of the language they use inside those testimonials is they looked at our reviews. One today came up. I was listening to the review. He said, I looked at their reviews first. I talked to some of their customers first. How good's that? Now he's the one giving us the testimonial. So, number one, get known by the success of your customers and clients. Like it sounds. Hey, by the way, if you want some help with that, reach out to us. What's your mobile phone number?
It's 022-571-5055.
There you go. So reach out to Renee, have a chat with her, and let's see how we can help you do that, right? Okay, number two, and this is brilliant, and lots of people can do this, but lots of people don't, okay? Number two is you want to get caught in the act of doing what you want to do more of, okay? So this is a good example of this is talking to a customer this week. He actually came in and did a podcast, Andrew from Travalis. We've got very good, and he's got very good over the years, and we've got very good at capturing what he's doing and what he wants to do more of. So when he's at a venue, they do software for, lots of bars and restaurants. He gets caught in the act of installing. He gets caught in the act of putting it in the brand, so there'll be a photo of him and a photo of the business. He gets caught in the act of installing that. So what actually happens to him when we start marketing that? He gets more inquiries, right?
Totally.
From
Makes
businesses
sense.
that want to do that, right? And it's really interesting because I was talking to him about the difference between New Zealand and Australia. And he said, Australia, if I put something out about one of the brands I'm dealing with, his inquiry just increases. Because he gets it, if they're using it, I need to be using it. And it's that real mentality. And I think, that was an interesting takeaway for me as well. Like, okay, maybe in Australia, people want to know what other people are using more of. I'm not sure, but that sounded like it was happening. But get caught in the act doing what you want to do more of. So what could be another example of that, Renee?
I guess multiple things really. So a client we work with who's in the plumbing trade, so might be plumbing and gas. We've just done some testimonial videos, introductory videos for him really, of him working with some hospitality brands.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Within Christchurch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, inside the business.
Yeah.
People will know that business. All of a sudden he's saying, hey, I work with hospitality business. He wasn't on the road saying that. He was in the business. And this is the key. Get caught doing the things. Get caught. Like like for me personally, I love the fact that we do strategy sessions. I love the fact that we promote that. I love the fact that we promote the high performance reviews that we do, right? Because we want to do more of them. Why do we want to do more of them? Because we've got a goal to help 10,000 businesses in New Zealand. We want to do more of these because we know the ripple effect that has. And I think that was when I watched that video, I was like, this is good from a plumbing company, inside a building saying, hey, this is who and people know that restaurant.
Totally.
People know that restaurant, right? So they'll go, oh, you work with those guys? Really, really, really key. So get caught in the act of what you want to do more of. And people, when I say this to people, I can always see their brains ticking away, right? And this is one of the areas you probably do need some help with. You probably need to map this out as a strategy and have it as part of your marketing strategy, because it's those little things. If you can do this kind of well, you'll outmarket your competitors because they won't think of it, they won't do it, or they won't know how to execute it. And I think this is where dealing with a marketing partner can really, really help a business, right? Because I know Paul and Whitehead Plumbing there, we're bouncing ideas. He's got his own ideas, but the team brings the ideas to him as well.
Yeah, and just hold his hand and get him into like he was a bit nervous about doing video to start with, and then he enjoyed the process, right?
Yeah.
And there's not many plumbers or people in his niche
No.
that are that proactive,
Yeah.
or he's doing something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact is, everyone's nervous when they first start doing videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
I remember I started doing them in 2011, and I was nervous. It's just natural. You always worry about what other people think of you. The fact is, though, no one actually is thinking of you, and that's sad to the ego, but it's just the truth. No one's actually thinking of you. But I get it. So work with a company that can help you.
Totally.
Because it's that important. It's that important. Getting known by the success of your clients is important. Get video testimonials and get caught in the act. That's important too. And get that caught on film because you can showcase and share a story. All right. Number 3 is important, and that is create content. You must create content. And I know that's hard to hear, but for some businesses, and that's hard. But at the end of the day, this is the TV channel now. Like, we are recording this, we're presenting this out onto YouTube, Facebook, Meta, everywhere we can put it. People will consume it. This will be a podcast. People will consume it. You need to create content. You need to get in front of people again and again and again and again, because no one knows who you are. And that's sadly the part where most businesses don't make enough money, because just no one knows who they are. Yeah. So what's some content ideas that people could be doing? I've got a couple, but I know you've got a couple too. What are some of the things? What are some of the easy things that people could be doing right now?
Like, as simple as meet the team, introduce the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
People get to know you. You should be going into people's homes, and
Yeah.
they've already built that know, like, and trust, like you said before.
That's a good one, right? Like, that's content everyone could do.
Yeah.
And if you're only one person, get one of your friends to interview you.
Yeah.
Like, grab a little camera, grab your phone, and get them to interview you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then educational content. So give away some useful and helpful tips that are going to help people, so they'll engage with you, and then you start to be seen as that trusted person in your field and your niche, that you're seen as the expert, right? And you actually, off the back of that, can maybe give some advice that's going to help somebody as well.
Those little insights. One thing I think every business could do is create a cash flow calendar or a calendar. What do we got coming up in the next few weeks? We got Mother's Day here, right?
Yeah, right.
How many businesses are underprepared? Because for the fact, this is what I look at events, this is the buying season, right? Mother's Day is what I call a buying event, and if you want to know about buying events, go look at Briscoe's, go look at Rebel Sport, go look at Harvey Norman. When things like this start happening, they start advertising. Why? Because they know people are going to buy. This is a buying event by default, right? So if you're not marketing to your customers at this time, you're missing out opportunities.
Yeah, you've got to be proactive with it,
Yeah,
right?
you've got to be in front. You've got to enter the conversation that people are having. Oh, I need something for Mother's Day, and be part of that conversation. And that's where creating content can really help you get in front of people. Now, the challenge is when it's buying time, all the good businesses are out there. So you've got to be a little bit creative. And here's one cool thing I saw the other day. It landed in my inbox, and I thought, you know what? This is a business that really understands. And one of our suppliers, actually, it's called the Gift Box Boutique. I posted on my LinkedIn yesterday. It's got quite a few reactions, and essentially that what they sent me was an email saying, "Hey, we understand that Mother's Day can be a very trying time, essentially for some people." Paraphrasing there, we understand that too. If you'd like to opt out from our Mother's Day emails, just click here.
Good.
And I was like, wow, I didn't know if they knew that I'd lost my mum like recently, but I just thought, wow, that is empathy in marketing in action.
Yeah.
And I thought they'll be a client for a long time. I mean, not a client. They'll be a supplier for a long time. The fact that they did that, to me, seems a lot. It says a lot about who they are and as a business, right? Because they care.
Totally.
And they probably don't know that I lost my mum, but I guarantee it went out to all their database, and they said, hey, just gave people the option to opt out. The alternative, yesterday, seriously, in one of my email inboxes that I use for seeing what other people are up to, there was 53 emails already on the 1st of May about Mother's Day,
Yeah, wow.
you know, but one, sent to me on April the 10th saying, ask me to opt out, and that's the company I have more respect for too, by the way, so it is interesting, right? So, okay, I rambled on there a wee bit, but you got to create content, get in front of video and talk, create a podcast, just talk to people and see what comes of it. Because I can tell you right now, this form of media is so good as far as getting people to know, like, and trust you. And I know I've said that probably 100 times in this podcast already, but it's so important. It speeds it up. Video definitely speeds it up. And I know you get this and I get this all the time now. Hey, we love seeing your videos. Well, I've been listening to your podcast. This is really, really good. And it just builds that depth of connection that you end up creating before you even meet them in person. So massive fan of that. So my 3 things again were: get known by the success of your clients. Really, really important. Get caught in the act of doing what you want to do more of. Okay, so that's once again, it's a no-brainer, right? And create content. And we're going to go into some more ways of creating content and in the next couple of videos that we're doing, and really help you dig into that. But for now, I really want to thank you for listening to the podcast today. This has been a short, sharp one. Just remember, the rebound effect is coming. It's separation time. You must market your business. If you want to get hold of us, the best person to speak to here is Renee. And Renee, your phone number again is?
It is 022 571 5055. I'd love to hear from you.
Any last bits of wisdom before we sign off today?
Oh, look, I think, take your time when you're picking a marketing agency to work with.
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Don't rush into it. And if you just want some advice, feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call as well.
Yeah.
Happy to connect. Yeah,
that's a good thing. Like, interview them, and if you have to, ask them to speak to some of their customers. I know we've got people that do that, and our customers are more than happy to talk to them. But also go through into their website. Go and look at their testimonials. Go and look at their social media and see what they're doing. If they're not active, why would you want to be doing business with someone who's not active on social media? If they're not creating their own content, if not running their own ads, if they don't actually have their own videos up, then definitely question that. All right, appreciate your time. As always, have fun, go out there, take some action, and remember, as always, celebrate your victories.